Hi, everyone. Welcome. I'm Teresa Lice. I'm coming to you with my delightful and amazing guest co host, Permelia Parham, and we're evolving women. I'm evolving. You're evolving. We're all evolving, and we're all on this journey of evolution together. So, to help us each on that journey, we're here to share uplifting messages, offer new perspectives, maybe some tools, resources, new wellness ideas, maybe some mindset shifts, maybe plant some new seeds so that we all evolve faster. And we're also here to give you permission to be your best self. So, welcome. We're so glad you're here. And welcome so much, Permelia. I'm so glad you're here.
Well,
Thank you
thank
so
you,
much
Teresa. I'm
for
excited to be here today.
I'm so glad that we're getting this opportunity to continue our conversation, which we started privately, last month, I think, a couple
A
weeks
couple
ago.
of weeks ago, for sure.
Yep. And I think we really connected, and I think Permelia has a lot to offer you as my audience and the world. So I wanted to bring her on and just really dig in and see what has been going on in her life and how she got to where she is today on her journey. So again, thank you, Permelia. Appreciate it. And it has been a journey, which we are all on, as I already spoke about. And it seems like you've had a lot of identity changes or reinventions along your journey. Can you share anything about that?
Oh, yes. Well, thank you. Yes, for sure. I think that as women, we kind of reinvent ourselves a lot. Um, and when I first started to get interested in health and healing, I wasn't in a great place. And I think that happens a lot with people as you're searching and you're looking. I was a mother, I was a wife. If you saw me from the outside, you would have thought that I had the perfect life.
Mm-hmm.
But I was not happy. And so I started to do my own research and my own searching to, and I knew intuitively I had to go in. It wasn't something
Mm-hmm.
that I could find, that was exterior of who I was. I was very fortunate. I was raised in a wonderful family. We always went to church. It wasn't, hyper religious or anything like that, but
Mm-hmm.
I did have, I think, a really good grounding, being raised with some faith. And so I was just starting to look and find out, okay, so if I'm not happy, I'm the only one that can change that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah. I
so I
love
was
that.
able to, at the time, find a woman that I started to study with, and she was an energy teacher, an energy healer. And I actually studied with her for 8 years, all
Wow.
total. And just from that, that's how now I'm doing health and wellness, which, of course, at the
Mm.
time I never thought that would happen. I was only doing it for me.
Right, right. And isn't that how it seems to work from a lot of women I've talked to on this, in this way, on the evolving women? They go through something and they find their own answers, they find their own tools, their own resources, and then they feel the urge or the need to share that with other women to help accelerate their journey of figuring out what it is they want to do.
Absolutely. I think that's just a dynamic of who we are as women.
Hmm.
When we learn something, we want to share it. We don't want to
Yeah,
hang on to
yeah,
it and keep it to ourselves, especially if it works.
yep,
We
yep.
want to be able to share it with other people.
Exactly. I just find that to be such a commonality among so many of us, which I love. I love that we're
Yes.
all uplifting and bringing up leveling each other higher and higher and higher so women can take over the world.
Yes.
Because
What?
we
We
did.
don't have it already?
Well, I don't think we do fully. I kind of think we do, but some people don't. But I love that you said you weren't happy and you were looking for some way to make you, excuse me, not make you happy, but allow yourself to be happy. And
Mhm.
you knew other people couldn't do it for you.
Yeah, so I was searching. because I'm a pretty joyful person. I've always been a fairly joyful person as I
Mm-hmm.
but I was always very introspective as well, even as a young child. You know, my parents were wonderful. I sometimes didn't think they kind of got me because I was always
Mm-hmm.
asking questions,
Mm-hmm.
and they were, telling me that I was too sensitive and why are you asking all these questions? And I'm like, well, because I want to know things.
Mm-hmm.
So I've always been curious. I've always wanted to know more. And I think that's really how we develop and how we grow and how we evolve
Right.
is
Oh,
by
for sure.
finding those answers, asking the questions that are, pertinent to who we are, with
Mm-hmm.
the sort of the education or instincts that we're looking for and what we want to find. So I always tell everybody, be curious. You
Yeah,
must
for
be
sure.
curious.
I love that. I love that. Now, can I ask you, at what point in your life did you find your mentor of 8 years that taught you about energy? Was it early on? Was it later in life? Like, you don't have to give me an age, but just because I think a lot of people think, oh, you have to be a youngster, you have to be young. Yeah, at my point in my life, no, I can't do that. I can't try anything different. What are your thoughts around that?
There's not an age. Never is there an age that you said that you need to tell yourselves you can't do that.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
well into my 50s.
Okay.
I thought my purpose in life was to be a wife and to be a mother.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And, I was doing all those things and
Right.
I figured fairly good. But then when I sort of had this um, realization that, and actually I was introduced to a book by a young woman who'd written a book about purpose.
Mm.
So I had thought that, my purpose in life was, I had a corporate job, and to do my job as best I could and to be a good
Mm,
wife and to
yeah.
be a good
Yeah.
mother. I
Yeah.
never thought about being the purpose of just me. What was
Mm-hmm.
that going to be for me? What is that? And when I read her book, I was like, oh my gosh, there's more than, this external being,
Mm-hmm.
um, as people see you. Uh,
Right.
I could actually start thinking about what really, and it was kind of at the same time that I was going through this roller coaster of trying to find out or be introspective as to why I wasn't feeling as joyful
Mm-hmm.
as I wanted to feel.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so I was definitely in my mid 50s. I had left my federal government job, my corporate job, and I was starting my own company. I had an event planning company, a corporate event planning company. And so I was out networking for the first time, with people, Chamber of Commerce events, etc. And I met this
Mm-hmm.
lovely woman who introduced me. She knew about the energy teacher that I ended up studying with for 8 years. So she introduced me to her at a women's luncheon, um, networking luncheon. And I think it was the only networking luncheon that my energy teacher ever went to because she
Wow.
didn't like doing that. So you never know who
You
you're going to
never
meet
know.
and how that's going to have an impact. And so when I started to meet with her and she had workshops and I would go to her workshops and we were looking at vibration. She taught me sort of the language I didn't even have the word intuition, but I did
Mm.
kind of have a knowing, but I didn't have the language to describe what that was. And
Mm-hmm.
so by studying with her, I finally had the language that I could explain how I felt,
Mm-hmm.
and what was
Mm.
happening for me. And so she taught me about chakra balancing. She taught me about energy, taught me about vibration, taught me about the law of attraction,
Mm-hmm.
realigning our belief systems and healing past lifetime energy. And that was just amazing. I was just, just working with her. And again, as I said, I only was doing it for me. I had no
Mm-hmm.
idea that it was
Right, that
going
it
to
was going
be.
to expand beyond you. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Oh my gosh, I love that. And it's a book. Books are so sometimes people say a book just popped out at them, or somebody from this book, they don't even know where it came from, or,
Or
so
when the book falls off the shelf.
yeah, exactly.
At
So
your
that
feet.
can be such a profound turning point for people. I mean, maybe
Exactly.
that's why some of us just value books so much. Like, I don't want to throw them away or anything. Like they're just precious to me. And so I love that it started with your journey, kind of started with the book at that particular
Mhm.
point in time. You weren't a spring chicken.
No.
You had already had your career, did the family thing. I think many of us women, and again, this is just my opinion, we do get to a point in life where we do start to think differently. I don't know if it's wisdom, just age. You just start to have these revelations like, oh, there must be more that I could do, or more, something more fulfilling. In your case, something to create that happiness for you. And I also love that you did not seek that happiness from other people. So any external
Mhm.
source was not, because that's not where it comes from.
No,
It
absolutely
comes
not.
from within.
And you're so right. I agree with you about, being a certain age. For me, it was when I turned 50. It was kind of like, you know what? There's some things in this life that I really don't like doing. I mean, they
Mm.
weren't major, but
Yeah, yeah.
driving at night, driving on the highway, I was like, okay, not doing that anymore. I don't want it. I don't like it. Not done.
Good for you. But I do think that comes with age. I
I
mean,
think so
I mean,
too.
if
Yeah.
if a younger woman is lucky enough to have those insights early on, like, more power to them. I
Absolutely.
wish
Yeah.
everybody could get it sooner in life, which I think that is happening for a lot of women. They are learning and getting these epiphanies earlier than we ever did. It
Well, I
took,
think there's more information out there.
yeah, exactly.
I didn't
Exactly.
know about energy
Yeah.
and emotions and vibration. That wasn't something that was sort of uh, in society at that.
Yes,
You had
yes.
to sort of really be searching it out, or you had to be really looking for it.
Yes.
And I think there's way more information now, which is
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
So younger women can be more in tuned to who they
Mm-hmm.
are. And
That is true. And I know this, like you, my world was broken open when I went to a massage school for a period of time. And I didn't know anything about energy, these different alternative modalities, the law of attraction, like that. I got all that from just listening and having conversations with other people in the class. And like once it broke open, like I couldn't get enough of it. It was like gobble, 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 look for all these books. I wasn't, the internet wasn't even a thing back then, if I remember correctly, or maybe it was just starting, but or I didn't make use of it. We'll just say that. I can't really say it wasn't there. It probably was, but I just didn't like, and now I use it all the time. Back then I didn't. But I was just like, I was always buying one book after the other, and I'd look in the, like, back in the where they list out all the books that were referenced, and I would go find that book. And it was just, I felt like I was a sponge
yeah,
getting all this
absolutely.
information for the first time, because it was for the first time. I like you, I grew up in a traditional middle class family. We went to a medical doctor, and that was it. Like there was nothing beyond that way of keeping, maintaining health, or if something went wrong, you'd go to that third person, with the medical degree. And I knew nothing about any other way of addressing health. So like when you talked about energy, prior to that, I would have had no clue what you were talking about.
Yes, as a matter of fact, there was a conference that I was at, and a bunch of us that were at that conference got together and had lunch one day. And this was in Alberta, Canada, where there's lots of like oil and gas. So there's that energy, right?
Okay. Now, yeah,
And
you're right. You're
and
right.
so, and so we were talking about, metaphysical types of energy at lunch that day. And the server that we had, she totally didn't understand what we were talking about. And I was
I
like, oh,
bet.
right. I have to keep in mind now.
And thank you for reminding me of that because you're right. Some women who are watching this might hear that word energy and think of that
Mhm, mhm.
renewable energy, energy that runs our devices, energy that we plug into. I mean, this is, can we say like another version of that?
It's definitely another
Yeah.
version
Yeah.
of that, and it's our own vibration, that is our aura, which is true to who we are. And when I was studying under my energy teacher, you see a lot of the chakra images, I would say, where they're aligned from your crown chakra to your
Yeah.
root
Yeah.
chakra. But we studied it that it was part of our aura, our energy vibration. They actually
Hmm.
went out from us in waves. They still were the same colors,
Mm-hmm.
but it was all part of our energy, what we called our energy aura.
Mm.
So to me, it was more inclusive of who we were and what was happening. And, we all have those experiences when we've met somebody and either like you and I, we immediately wanted to talk and get together,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
or you meet someone and you're kind of like, I'm not sure about that. And it's because your vibration is not connected with their vibration.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
it's,
yeah. And I think frequency and vibration are becoming more common
yes.
knowledge. Like, there's some ladies in town here that do sound baths with the
Mhm.
bowls. Oh my God, I love that. And, like I said, 20 years ago, I was like, I don't get it. I don't understand why would you want to listen to something? And so I think it's really becoming more in this like Reiki. My friend was a Reiki person like 30, 40 years ago when nobody heard of that, and she was doing that when nobody understood it. Now it seems to have permeated itself into
Everybody
society, and
knows. Yeah.
everybody knows it now. So I kind of get that idea that this is what the frequency vibration is like. It's at that beginning point where it's people know about it, but not a lot. And
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
yeah,
I
so
love it.
you're on the cutting edge, it sounds like.
It's the story of my life.
I love that. I love that. And again, it doesn't matter what age you jump
No.
into something, and your curiosity will lead you wherever it wants to take you. And be open-minded enough to follow the path, follow the calling, and see where it takes you.
I love that. Yes. And it's very important, I think, to be open because you never
Hmm.
know where it's going to take you.
Hmm.
We have a path, we think, oh, we need to be doing this or we need to be doing
Yeah.
that. But I've found the most amazing things that have happened in my life is when I didn't follow the path.
Mm.
When I just
Yeah.
kind of let
Yeah.
the path come to me or let it happen or let the energy that was out there be attracted to me rather than
Yeah.
me trying to make it happen.
Yeah. That's a tough thing.
It is. It is.
I
It's a
mean, I
lot.
don't know. We have this sense that we need to control everything. So I think we have this false sense of control. We think we're in control, but we're really not, but we think we are. But to just let it go intentionally and consciously and allow the universe to bring you the people and the books and the situations and the opportunities. It seems like that's scary. And I'm talking to myself, scary, but I think it'll always lead to something really positive and beautiful.
Well, and really it's leading, I believe, as well, Teresa. I think it's leading us and leading where we can serve.
Mm-hmm.
Both you
Mm-hmm.
and I are in this realm of health and healing and serving. Our motto with the Healing Institute is service with love. And so we just want to, that's what I want to do. I say that every morning. What can I do today? How would you like me
Mm-hmm.
to serve?
Yeah, I love that. And that's a habit I'm really trying to get into. I'm going to admit that I still want to control things. But I've loosened my grip quite a bit over the years. but there's really nothing to be afraid of, it seems. Like
No.
everybody has a beautiful unfoldment story where they followed their inspiration and their guidance. And it, it might be a little scary. Like, can I handle that? Am I going to be able to serve in that role? I mean, that's how I feel. Am I good enough? That kind of stuff. I mean, I do a lot less of that than I have in the past. But yeah, maybe that's the scary part where we don't trust ourselves enough. Again, I'm talking to myself. Do I not trust myself enough to embrace what is coming to me and what I'm being offered?
Well, and the way I look at it is if I'm attracting it for a reason.
Good
So,
point.
Spirit wants me it to be the Healing Institute, for example. I was looking at a building here where I live on Vancouver Island on the west coast of Canada, in my small little city. I was looking to find a building for holistic practitioners. And then that was in the fall of 2019. So we know what happened in
Yep.
2020. And
Yep.
all of a sudden now I'm on online networking platforms all over the world. And I'm meeting holistic practitioners all over the world. So I'm like, oh, well, perhaps I'm meant to do something on a larger scale, a more global online scale than just having, you know, um, a building in my
Right,
city.
right, right. And you followed that. Um,
Yeah, I did. I had some encouragement. I had some great coaches, business coaches, and really everybody I've ever spoken to over the last couple of years since I've been developing this. They think it's a great idea, and they
mm.
are very supportive of what I'm doing. So sometimes you have to just let go,
Yes, yes. Even if it's scary and
even
uncomfortable.
if it's scary.
Yeah,
Actually,
yeah.
one person I studied under, she said fear is when comes up when God is saying yes, you
Mm,
need to look at this, because the fear is your own, what you're holding yourself back. And
yes, yes.
you really need to step into it, step into your fear.
Mm-hmm,
It's not
mm-hmm.
something we're taught, right?
Yeah, oh,
We're
for
taught
sure.
if we're
For
afraid of
sure.
something, we kind of back off,
Yep,
rather
yep.
than actually stepping into what
Mm-hmm,
might be a bit fearful. And
mm-hmm,
for me, anyway, whenever I've done that, it's just been so much better and so much
mm,
more than I could have planned for it to happen.
I love that. And yes, I have heard something along that line. The other side of fear is where all the good things
Mm.
happen, but you have to step through that first, which really sometimes isn't all that long. And
No,
it's not that bad. Like, and then you look back like, oh, why was I so afraid of that? At least in my experience, it's just kind
yeah,
of
I
funny how
agree.
how
I've
we
had the
build it
same.
up in our heads, and it's really not as big as we thought it was going to be. So just us humans are so funny, as I like to say, that we do
We
that to
are.
ourselves. But yes, please share with us a little bit about your Healing Institute.
Thank you. We're a worldwide online hub of holistic practitioners, and we are a community. So, what I say is how we differentiate ourselves from other wellness directories, because there's lots out there,
Mhm.
really a lot of good ones. But
Okay.
we are a community of holistic practitioners, so we get to know each other. So we're not just a directory. We get to know each other. We get to know each other's modalities, how they work. So when clients are coming to the Healing Institute platform to connect with us, my modality is body code. So they may come
Mm-hmm.
because they would like to have a body code session with me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would be able to offer them. We also have a amazing holistic practitioner who's a conscious breathing facilitator. She does wonderful breathing exercises.
Mm-hmm.
We have a spiritual coach who's also she does Egyptian Reiki, which is quite
Ooh,
different, but
never
it's
heard
very
of
cool.
that.
Very, very cool. And one of our other practitioners is a boundaries coach. And so
Wow.
all of those, a lot of us don't know we've not learned how to put up boundaries
Yes,
that
yes.
that that protect us. You know, and one of the
Right.
things that I say when I'm showcasing the our boundaries coach is, you know, have you said a yes too often? Because if we're
Mhm.
saying yes, and women, I think have a tendency to do that,
I was just going to
to
say
always
that.
say, yes, I'll do that.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
find out afterwards that, you know, either you don't have the bandwidth to do it,
Yeah.
or you said that yes to something that you really didn't want to do. You're
Right.
trying to,
Correct.
you know, please the other person that you said
Hmm.
yes to.
Yeah.
So, you know, we all get to know each other. And so that way, when clients come to the Healing Institute for any kind of holistic modality session, really they get us all.
Mm, that's
You know, we're
cool.
still growing. We're new, we're fairly new. We're still getting the word out to people that we exist. My vision is to really be in over 20 countries and have over 200
Mm,
practitioners. We really want to make an impact on health and healing in the world. And we have had our medical model that we've had for the last,
yeah.
you know, whatever years, 50 years or
Hmm.
so. And it's really not working. And we
No.
now know the reason it's not working is because, well, all of the medical, um, I would say, practitioners of that kind, we're only ever taught to look at symptoms. We
Right.
taught
Right.
to look at the root cause of what's going
Yep.
on. And that's what I love about holistic healing, is
Hmm.
because we look at the root cause. What is really happening? Why do
Right.
you have that physical pain? It's not just
Hmm.
a physical discomfort or physical pain. Why do you have that? Why
Right.
are you feeling, you know, emotionally upset or
Hmm.
distraught?
Hmm.
So we're always looking and dealing with the client as to what exactly it is that that we need to get to that root cause to actually
Right.
do the healing. Yeah.
Right. Which could be a process. I mean,
Oh,
it
well,
could
it
happen
always
very
is.
quickly or
Yeah,
it
no, it
could take a
doesn't.
while.
It
Yeah.
does take a while,
Yeah.
because we didn't get to this situation overnight, right?
Right. Right.
And usually I find a lot of women are more open to search. And they're searching in their 40s and 50s and 60s and
Mm.
70s. So, you know,
Hmm.
they haven't lived all those decades that, you know, you're gonna, whatever the issue is, that you're gonna get over it in just a couple of sessions.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah, good to remember that
mhm.
it is a process. Healing is a process. And I love that you have these different modalities, but you can recommend once somebody comes to the Healing Institute, they can see who else is on there, what the other modalities are. What, you just said the Egyptian Reiki. So people are going to be exposed to things they've never heard of before. Uh,
Absolutely.
there's just so many modalities out there. Like I was that time period when I was a sponge, I was just shocked. Like I said, there's a whole new world opened up for me because again, my background that I grew up with was that standard American medical model, which is fine. I'm not dismissing them. We need them.
Oh,
They're
absolutely.
just a
Yeah.
piece of the puzzle.
And
Whereas I
I
was taught they
see,
were the whole puzzle.
I see the Healing Institute as a bridge, the bridge between
Mm-hmm.
the old, what I call the old medical model,
Yes,
the
yes.
allopathic medical model, and
Mm-hmm.
the holistic medical model. We need
Mm.
both, you know.
We do. We do.
So we need to know how to bridge those and how to put them together.
Mm-hmm.
And when should you seek out holistic health versus,
Mm-hmm.
you know, medical health? Well, if I have a broken bone,
Right.
I, I want
Right.
I
You
want
want to
the
go.
allopathic health
Yes, for
right away.
sure. For sure. Yeah. You don't want to wait for 5 months to figure out why it happened and what. Yeah. You need to address that right away. So I love your vision that you want to be in over 20 countries. I love the whole international idea behind it. I'm going to encourage our viewers to definitely go check her out. I believe you said your QR code behind you will take them right to your website.
Take you right to the website. You'll
Mhm.
see a search bar when you get there. And so if there's a specific um, issue that you have, whether it's sleep or anxiety or stress or pain, you
Mhm.
just need to put that word in the search bar, and then the practitioners that are in the directory will come up. The practitioners that help with that
Mhm.
issue will come up.
Mhm.
So,
And just know that your set of practitioners is expanding.
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
if you don't see something that pops up right now, come back in the future and there will be new people to choose from to help
Yes.
with certain things. So thank you so much for even having the courage to put this all together and you're following your inspiration and following the breadcrumbs. I love that. I just honor and respect you for doing that
Thank you so much. Yes.
and disregarding where you were in your journey here on the planet. You're just going to do it anyway. I love when women do that. It's just like you're breaking the mold, breaking the stereotype, you
Well, I
know.
just want to be proof that you can do really what your heart is saying that you should be doing.
Hmm.
Follow your heart. Yes, it's also a little bit of work.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but still, if you're doing what you love, it's not work.
for sure,
Right.
for
I always say
sure.
that. People are always asking me when I'm going to retire. I said, well, first of all, I have no idea what that word means.
Right.
And and I don't work because I
Yeah.
love what I do. So
Yeah, oh, I totally get you. Totally get you. And retirement was just made up by some realtor guy, if I understood that correctly. But so it's not even a thing in a lot of countries. It's just something we've bought into. But yeah, you never want to stop learning. You never want to stop growing. You never want to stop being curious. I think that is what living is all about.
I agree,
So.
100%.
So we will definitely put Permelia's info in the description with this video, with this recording. So make sure you check her out. Use your camera, get your take the
The QR code.
QR code. It was going to come eventually, which it did. And I am so grateful and thankful that you jumped on to share what you're doing with the world. Like I said, I love what your vision is, and I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Thank you, my friend. Appreciate you. And thank you, everybody, for listening in to this episode. We appreciate you. And I hope you share this with somebody that might need it. Check out our friend here, Permelia, and check out the Healing Institute. And we will see you in the next episode. Thank you, everybody. Bye bye.
Hi.